What's up guys, and welcome back to part 21 of this Mercedes minibus campervan conversion. So if you're new to the series, the first full 20 episodes of this conversion, stripping the bus all the way down to the bare chassis and building it back up to as you see today, they're all documented on my channel, episode by episode, covering pretty much weekends at a time. So as you can see, this has taken me roughly around about 21-22 weekends of pure work to get to where I am now at the moment. But in today's episode I'm hoping to actually get all of the kitchen units and all of the appliances fully fitted and finished off as well. I made a good start on it last week. I got most of the cutouts in the worktop made, got all the cabinets put together with the doors on, things like that. But I forgot to order some of the BSP to John Guest converters for the tap, so I had to down tools. I couldn't get everything finished because obviously everything needs to come up to be able to get into the pipework that's going to be going behind the under-mounted sink that's going to be going in there as well. So thankfully these have arrived during the week, so I can now crack on, and hopefully today I should be able to get all of the rest of the kitchen cabinets and full kitchen build pretty much completed. So first things first, I'm going to concentrate on getting the tap in place because, as I say, this was one of the main things that held me up last week. So I'm going to be running a cold and hot water John Guest pipework down behind where the sink's going to be, under the van, going across to where the hot water is going to be coming out from the water heater, and the cold from the pump and the accumulator tank that you can see down there as well. Once they're in place, then I can get the undermounted sink in its final fixed position, as well as then getting the hob and the oven all in again the final fixed position as well, because at the moment everything's just still loosely fitted because I know the worktop has to come up to get into the pipework behind the sink. So I'm going to get cracked on, and as I say, hopefully today we'll have the kitchen unit and all the appliances fully finished, fully fitted in. So I'm going to crack on, get some tools out, some safety gear out, start getting these pipeworks for the tap all sorted out, and hopefully by the end of today's episode the full kitchen build will be fully completed. So let's get cracked on and see how far we get done for today. Right guys, so there's the hole drill through for the tap, and as you can see I've got the cold and the hot John Guest water pipes fed up through from underneath. I don't know how well you'll be able to make it out, but as you can see, well, you might be able to see, there's a hole down there that the pipes are falling back through, and then they go underneath the chassis, secured underneath. Now as I say, I've got the converters to go from the John Guest Speedfit onto the BSP connections as well, and they've also had a bit of the Teflon tape inside it as well, just to be sure. So now they're in place, I can now finally get these fed through up the hole into the tap, start to get that secured on, and then as I say, we can start looking at getting everything else secured in place as well. Right, so I've been cracking on. I've managed to get the undermounted sink in place, as well as the tap with all of the water connections fed behind the cabinet itself. So as you can see, it's all concealed behind the unit. Obviously I've still got to get all the drain, waste drain fed, things like that. But the sink's in, the tap's in, that's the main thing. I've got the cupboard for the oven secured in place as well, so that's not going anywhere. And I've got the gas connection pipe on the oven in place as well. Now before I put the hob on, I'm going to go through and I'm going to give the entire worktop a good staining with some teak oil. In the last episode I did sand the entire top using a DA sander, so it's all had a quick rough over. So first things first, as I say, I'm going to give it a good smothering of the teak oil, leave that to dry up, and then I'll be able to get the hob back in place and get it screwed and secured into the worktop. Obviously I just want to try and get it all stained first, otherwise I'll be working around the hob whilst trying to stain all the wood. So I'll crack on, get all of this teak stained up, give it a chance to dry up, and then we'll carry on and get the hob fitted in and see what else we can get done as well. Right, so as you've seen, I've been cracking on. I managed to get the hob fully in place, the oven is fully secured into the unit as well. And if we go inside the little access hatch, you can see I've got the gas connected on the oven, and I'm just about to connect the gas onto the hob as well. But as I said, this is exactly why I left this little access hatch here, just to be able to get in, do any maintenance that might ever need doing. It's just going to make life a hell of a lot easier, that's all. So I'm going to crack on, get that gas pipe connection onto the hob, then that'll be another job ticked off, and that'll be the kitchen one step closer to being completed. Right guys, that'll do it for today. I'm going to pick it back up again tomorrow because I need to nip out and get a few more bits. I need to go and get all of the drain, pipe work and plumbing, and then I can get all of the drain fitted in for the sink. I'm also going to go out and get some tiles that are hopefully going to match the sink, and I'll be able to put some tile splashback along the back just to give it a little bit more protection when you're cooking, washing up, things like that. And again, I'm also going to probably try and get some of the same sort of colour for paint, and I'm probably going to paint the rear bedroom / sofa bed area in the same colour as well, just so that nice lime green is going to flow through around the kitchen and into the bedroom area as well. So it's not been a bad day, as I say. All of the units are now fully secured in place, the oven's now secured in place as well as the hob, all the gas connections are fitted on. I've got the sink mounted in as well as the tap with all of the water connections fed up from underneath as well. So I'm going to nip out now while I've still got an hour left while the shops are still open, get a few bits. I'll pick it up again tomorrow when I've got the bits that I'm nipping out for now. Then as I say, tomorrow hopefully we should be able to get all of the splashback done, get the plumbing done for the sink, for the wastewater going down as well, and that'll be pretty much the kitchen almost complete. So I'll pick it up tomorrow after I've been to the shops and got the extra bits that I need. Right guys, so it's the following day and I'm ready to start cracking on and trying to get this kitchen work all finished today. Had a little bit of a rigmarole this morning, trying to go out and trying to find some tiles to create a splashback behind the hob and the sink. 5 different tiling places, but I managed to find some. Still not a perfect match to the fridge, but it's still close enough. And I'll be able to then at least, as I say, get all the tiling on the splashback all in place. So I've got that to do. I've got the drain to fit in for the under-mounted sink. Got to finish off boxing in the fridge. I did do most of the Conti board work yesterday, but I've fitted a little fridge fan at the very back on that little mount there. And I've put a little switch there, but I don't like the position because if you're looking underneath you can still see the connections of the switch. So I'm actually going to replace this board. I've gone out and bought yet another board. Goes to show not everything goes perfect first time round, but it is what it is. So I'm going to cut this new board back down and I'm going to move this switch further back, pretty much above where the vent is back there, so it can still be turned on and off, but it's going to be totally out the way so you can't see any of the wires or cabling behind the boarding. So as I say, I'm going to be cracking on, replace that Conti board, get all the tile and splashback done, maybe a few other bits and bobs as well, and hopefully we'll have this kitchen fully finished by the end of the day. So let's get cracked on. Right guys, so I've been cracking on, and as you can see I've got all of the tile and splashback all in place now. And that's behind the hob, running across, and behind the sink area as well. Just so there's going to be no water splashing back against any of the timber cladding, or any heat or fats or anything like that splashing up from the hobs again onto the back of the cladding as well. So that's all nice and neat looking. I'm just going to leave the adhesive just to fully set up before I then start putting a bit of grouting through in between all the tiles. So I'll probably do that next week, give this tiling plenty of time to just fully set in place where it is. In the meantime, off camera, I've also just swapped out that Conti board. As I said, the previous one had a little switch in this top corner and I just wasn't happy because I could see the cables just in that corner. So instead, you can probably see there, I've recut the board. I've got a fan fitted on the other side and the switch for the fan is at the rear end of that board now, so you can't see any cabling or anything like that. I've also, again, just off camera, just got the fridge fully in place, so now this isn't moving anywhere, as you can see. It's not sliding out or anything, so that's nice and secure. Especially when the worktop's fully secured down onto that Conti board as well. There'll be no movement on the fridge at all as well. So it's been a relatively productive day, but I've just been doing a few bits off camera, just ticking off daft little jobs at the same time, like, as I say, the Conti board, things like that. So there's still a few more jobs I can still get cracked on with for today as well. So let's try and get a few more jobs ticked off before this episode comes to a close. Right, so a few more jobs down. I've got the waste in place for the undermounted sink. That's going down and that's fed through a little hole that's gone through the cabinet, and then I'm going to have a waste pipe coming up through the flooring to connect to that, and that's going to go across to the waste tank. Now in the meantime, it's been a good 2-3 hours since I put all of these tiles on, and these are all pretty much all set now. So I'm going to go through, take out all the little spaces, and I'm going to go in and get some more of the sealant in between all the tiles, just to act as a grouting basically. But because these are going into a camper van, I don't want to use proper grout because that could crack over time. So I'm just going to be using white adhesive in between all the tiles, and that'll give a nice, neat, bright white finish. So let's get cracked on and get some of this done. Right guys, that'll do it for this week's episode. It's been another productive weekend where I've managed to get pretty much most of the kitchen finished off now. So I've got the oven fitted in its final resting place inside the 50cm unit. I've got the 4-burner hob secured down into the cutout hole. I've got the undermounted sink in place, as well as the tap and all of the water pipes fed down beneath the units under the van into where all the water is getting fed from the Truma hot water and the cold water tank that's underneath as well. I've redone the cunty board to box in the fridge, moving the little switch for the fan to the very back, as you can see there, just to hide away all of the cables, because I just wasn't happy with them just being on show in that corner there. I managed to box the fridge in, and that's secured as well, so that can't roll out anymore. I've got a couple of wooden chocks underneath screwed into the floor that go all the way to the back of the fridge, just to stop any movement of that as well. And then I also did a bit of tiling as a splashback behind all of the sink and the hob area as well. Now this does still need a little bit of tidying up, because I've been waiting for all of the sealant and adhesives to set on this before going through and giving it a really good scrub and a wipe down. But as I say, for another weekend's work, that's pretty much that's it for this weekend. I say I'm pretty happy and pleased with how it's all turning out so far. Very little left to do with the kitchen now. Got to get a kickboard underneath the units, but I'll do that once I've finished with all of the cabling and plumbing, things like that underneath, because I've still got to get the waste from the sink under the floor and across to the waste tank as well. But as I say, it's a pretty good weekend's work. I'm happy with how it's coming along. So as I say, we'll call it here for now. So if you made it all the way through to the end of the video, consider giving the video a good old thumbs up. If you're looking for any of the items that are fitted throughout this kitchen or the entire build in general, always check the description of the videos below. So below in this description there'll be links going off to everything from the undermounted sink, the hob, oven, fridge, worktop, units, doors, handles, hinges, tiles, everything. So as I say, anything that's been fitted within this video, there should be links in the description below going off to eBay where I've bought all of these items. So if you're looking for anything, check the description. If you haven't already, consider hitting that subscribe button to the channel. Weekly updates coming, and hopefully we're getting towards the end of this build soon as well. We're getting down towards the final finishing touches. So there'll be a few more episodes of this, and then we'll probably be cracking on with a new project in time as well. So thumbs up the video, subscribe if you haven't already, and remember to check back next week for next week's update on this Mercedes minibus campervan conversion. Thanks for watching. Cheers.